Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Also don't forget episode 6 of the road to £175 drops this evening at 6 o'clock. So if you can, please give it a watch. We are bringing this crazy challenge to an end this Thursday. So this Thursday we have to weigh in at £175. Wish me luck. We weigh right now just under 84 kilos. Remember, the target is 79.6 kilos, I believe. I should know this. So yeah, we are going to make it. It's going to be tough, but we are going to make it. So yeah, if you can, please give the recent episode a watch. All right, I've just got back from Birmingham from the Next Gen card headlined by Galal Yafai. Very, very special talent. We are going to talk about him, but I just want to talk quickly about these Next Gen cards. I love them. I really do. We did one in Newcastle. Cyrus Pattinson, who we're going to talk about as well, headlined that one against Chris Jenkins. And it's a different type of energy. It really is. I don't know if it's because the crowd's a lot smaller. You get a lot of fighters on the cards that have maybe not had many TV outings. Like, they've done their thing in small hall shows. So when they get the opportunity to fight in front of the lights, they just deliver. And I don't know, I feel like there's less pressure on them. Like, everyone expects gold from the big events, and rightly so, right? You're paying bigger money. Most time the big events are on pay-per-view, so you expect it to be higher. Well, I think these ones, people just go wanting to have a good night of boxing, and most times the fighters deliver. And I think a few of the fights delivered on Saturday, like that Kane Baker Jordan Flynn fight. I didn't think it was a draw. I thought Jordan Flynn maybe nicked it by a couple of rounds. But they had a fight on the undercard of AJ Franklin, and it was the best fight on that undercard. It really was. And I'm happy that they got this time for the fight to be bumped up. It was bumped up to 10 rounds, and this time it opened up the card. And what a fantastic fight to open up the card. It was scored a draw. There was a knockdown and a point taken away, so I'm not quite sure, but credit to both. There probably, and Jordan Flynn won't like this, but there probably will be another fight now. There'll be a third fight. Kane Baker will take it, right? This is the guy that's got double-digit defeats, and now he's getting the opportunity to fight on the big stage in decent cards. So look, good luck to him. Cyrus Pattinson versus Conor Walker. Sometimes you can be a victim of the moment, and I am like that sometimes, right? You forget what's happened this year, but I need to remind myself and see another fight of the year like that. Like, if that's not fight of the year, then someone send me over what is, and I'll be like, okay, fair. Because that was carnage from the very first bell. From the very first bell, neither man wanted to back up. Both of them decided to fucking man this out in a phone booth style type fight, and it was insane. Honestly, the punishment they were taking and dishing out was just, I don't think you recover from that. Like, I think that takes a lot out of you. I really do. And in the end, like, Cyrus obviously fights, or has one way of fighting, and look, it's entertaining. People love it, but it's not built for longevity in the sport. He had that fight with Chris Jenkins, and I thought, okay, he's going to learn from that. And he just went in, and it was almost like the Chris Jenkins fight ended, and he just continued fighting the same way. I remember, this is a Team GB boxer. He can box. And at times in that fight, he showed he can box. Off the ropes, he kind of swiveled left and right, which was nice. But he just got involved. He got involved with Conor Walker. And again, Conor Walker's one of those fighters that I know he's fought for the English title before, but maybe he hasn't had that opportunity in front of the cameras. And he just took it. The venue was 25 minutes from where he lived. So it was just friends there, friends and family. He said at the end as well, they're not my fans. I know every single one of them by name. And they were cheering him on, and they just gave him the extra 5%. And that extra 5% was enough to get the job done. I think they'll rematch. The plan was, and they were telling me this as the fight was going on, I was supposed to get in the ring after, because they assumed Pattinson would win. I was supposed to get in the ring after and interview Pattinson and Lewis Ritson. They were supposed to get on in the Northeast in November. I don't know what they do now. I know they still want to do a Northeast card, but I wonder if you now look at Pat or Luke McCormack against someone, because Cyrus Pattinson, he needs about 8 or 9 months out of the ring. He needs two things for me. And I'm not one to say this lightly, but I think he needs to switch trainer. I'm just not a fan of that style of boxing. Again, he can box. He can box. The amateur record tells me he's a good boxer, but all of a sudden, and he's not a big puncher, but all of a sudden he wants to just have a fight in the phone booth. Makes no sense. So switch trainer, come back again, refreshed. He's only 29. Just have some time out, a lot of time out, because he took a lot of big shots, really, really big shots. One thing I will say to his corner, well done for throwing in the towel. Well done, because he was hurt badly at the end. Was it the 8th or 9th? And he could have come out, right? He's the unbeaten champion. He could have come out and said, you know what, no, I want to go out on my shield. But they saved him for another day. And I think saving him will stand him in good stead for another go at Conor Walker in the Northeast, right? He fought Conor Walker in his home patch. Now it's up to Conor Walker to go up to the Northeast and fight him. But yeah, maybe they go at it again in the Northeast. Quick word on Solomon Dakers. Obviously got the victory over Chris Thompson. Mad thing is, yeah, story about Chris Thompson. I commentated on his first ever fight, so his debut, obviously, in South Africa. It's crazy. When I saw him, I was like, because I saw the name Solomon Dakers versus Chris Thompson. I was like, oh my God, that is Chris Thompson. I commentated on his fight. And look, he put in a good showing. Ultimately, Solomon Dakers is a level above. And I need Solomon Dakers to show that he's a level above these guys. Like, he's a bit too relaxed for me. Like, I need him to really just go through the gears sometimes. Like, punches and bunches. Like, believe in your cardio, believe in your punch power, believe in your ability a bit more. Because this is all about, like, sometimes ability is one thing in this sport, but you've also got to remind these boxers, and it is difficult, but you've got to remind them this is an entertainment sport as well. And he needs to entertain just a little bit more for me. But look, ultimately he got the win. He stays unbeaten, English heavyweight champion. He should be looking at the guys just above him. So your Fabio Wardleys, well, I don't know what's going on with Matchroom and Fabio at the moment, but your Fabio Wardleys, Adelaide's, potentially Fraser Clark as well. Maybe Dave Allen. Maybe do that one if Dave Allen looks good against Fraser Clark. Galauya fight, obviously look far too good for Tommy Frank. Sometimes you've got to know though. I see a lot of people will maybe like, why is Eddie putting him in with him? Sometimes you just have to know. So what they did initially with Galauya fight is they fast-tracked him, right? He had 2 good fights very early. And then he went to Abu Dhabi. And you guys saw what happened there. The split decision win. Could have gone the other way. So they probably were on this kind of ascendancy with him. Like, okay, we're going to go straight away. And that made them rethink a bit. He had a comeback win after that. I say comeback win. It's not like he lost. But he had a win after that fight. I think a TKO in the 5th or 6th or something. But I think they wanted one more just to be certain that he's way above this level. And that was it, right? That was the one more. He's clearly above that level. He maybe should have fought Jay Harris. I spoke to him about Jay Harris after. He thinks he can do that to Jay Harris as well. It's not all the same sometimes, but Jay Harris took 10 rounds to get that kid out of there. Galal did it in, I think, 90 seconds. So Galal clearly above this level. He's not yet ready for your Sonnies, your Bams. I don't think for Julio Cesar Martinez as well. But if there's a level just below that, I think he's ready for that. But we'll see what Eddie does. I think Eddie wants to bring him out for that card and put him on that card as well, the Sonny Bam unification. All right, enough of that. I did want to talk about very quickly what's going on between Anthony Joshua and this fight with Deontay Wilder. Like, what's happening? I thought we would have got an announcement. I'm not joking. I know maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but AJ fought a week ago. Well, not even 8 days ago now. Like, what's going on? Like, what is happening? It's actually become quite annoying now because I did a video a few days ago saying, look, I don't know how this fight is still big, but it's still big. Let's make it. Like, this fight for me, there were times when I thought it's dead in the water. Dead in the water. When AJ got beat by Usyk, I think the first time round, and Wilder got beat by Fury, I thought, forget it. But then I started to get excited about it. I started to even come up with the phrase chaos in Lagos because I thought, you know what, it doesn't always have to be world title fights. Sometimes you can have just really good heavyweight fights. And I thought this could be one. This could be carnage. You know, whoever lands first, all that kind of stuff. 2 very big punchers, 2 big guys going at it. So I thought, okay, make the fight. Make the fight. AJ kind of announced that the fight was going to happen after the Franklin fight. Do you remember that? When he said, first of all, he said, I'm going to have 3 fights this year. Then it was like, no. I'm back in December. And everyone's like, oh, what does that mean? And basically he was trying to tell us, okay, no, something's happening. It's going to be me versus Wilder in December. And then all of a sudden, he wanted to have one more in between that. We've had the one more in between that now. Surely it has to be Wilder. Surely. But I don't think it is going to be Wilder. It's got to the stage now where I don't believe it will be Wilder. I spoke to Eddie yesterday and I said, okay, what are the chances? I said, is it 50-50 it happens? And he says 70-30. 50-50. It is 50-50. It's 50-50. And I don't know the reasoning. I don't understand what the problem is. In fact, I do understand what the problem is. With boxing, there's only ever one problem. And that's that. It's money. That's always the problem when it comes to boxing. Do not tell me there is not enough money in the pot for everyone to eat for AJ versus Wilder. There has to be. Unless the Saudis in the last few days have decided, okay, what we wanted to offer you 6-7 months ago, we've now slashed that in half, or we've taken a lot off that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And now there's wranglings about, okay, who gets what? I'm not quite sure. Maybe there's arguments behind the scenes as who's the A side, who's the B side. Again, I'm not quite sure. But surely there's enough money for everyone to be very, very happy. And my thing that really pisses me off is the over-reliance on the Saudis. Now, call me mad, but surely AJ versus Wilder, and look, maybe it won't be the money that the Saudis initially offered, because I'm guessing that was big. But don't tell me AJ Wilder doesn't do big numbers over here. Like, don't tell me you can't chuck that at Wembley Stadium and maybe even increase the price on the tickets to get a big gate, or Tottenham Stadium. And don't you dare tell me that AJ versus Wilder on pay-per-view don't do crazy numbers. I was going to say 1 million. I think if marketed correctly, possibly, that's a lot of money. No, all the extra money you bring in from selling the rights to different territories around the world, all the extra sponsorship that comes in. Again, look, it might not be the crazy money that Saudi put on the table. It might not be that, but it's still a lot of money. The problem is money. And look, I'm not saying this as fact. I'm saying this is what I think. Because, again, we've gone from, AJ versus Wilder in December to, AJ versus Wilder in January to AJ versus Wilder's happening next to it's 70-30 to it's 50-50 to it might not happen next. To one more, to AJ says, I want a fight in between. You heard it. AJ says, I want 2 fights this year. I ain't making it up. It's so disappointing. If it is money, and again, what else can it be? It's so disappointing. It really is. We should have been all systems go. As soon as AJ knocked out Helenius, the place should have gone dark, and there should have just been an AJ Wilder promo appear. That's what should have happened. No wonder Wilder wasn't there, because this fight's not done. I mean, Eddie said in the ring or after to reporters, this is last week Saturday, that you'll know something in a couple of days. Well, a couple of days has happened. Look, I'm all for AJ getting the rest and chill. I'm all for that. But can someone just announce the fucking fight? Announce it, man. Or it dies again. Like, it's going to be very, very difficult for AJ to announce another name and that name not be Deontay Wilder. I don't know what you do. Honestly, I don't like, you can go down the list of heavyweights and I honestly, I don't know what you do. If that's not Wilder, look, in an ideal world, I wouldn't mind AJ having another fight camp. Like, say Wilder announced Ruiz. I'm like, okay, fuck it, AJ, you fight someone. But Wilder's not announcing no one. Wilder's ready to rock and roll this immediately, straight away. And I want AJ to be as well. But right now, it looks like he isn't. Guys. So, yeah. And this will be very disappointing because, look, we've had the issues with AJ Fury and that fight not happening for whatever reason, right? I don't know why that fight, for whatever reason. I remember the first time was because Wilder put an injunction out to block it, remember, for him to have that third fight with Fury. And then the second time, it didn't seem like Team AJ were very serious about it. I'm not quite sure. But for whatever reason, we haven't seen an all-British showdown between two guys of the same generation. It hasn't happened. For AJ not to fight Wilder would be doubly disappointing. Doubly. Yes, I know people will say, I know I'm an AJ fan. People will say, yeah, but he's fought Ruiz, he's fought Usyk and Parker and Pavett. I get all that. But the two biggest names of this heavyweight era, he hasn't fought. And that's Wilder and Fury. I'm not saying Wilder's the best of this era, the two biggest names of this era. He hasn't fought. He needs to fight them. And if the Wilder fight doesn't happen next, then I don't know. Start to believe it won't happen. Look, if I've got any more news on it, I'll let you know. But right now, if we're leaning to will it happen, won't it happen next, I'm more leaning to it won't happen next. Yeah, I'm doing the presser on Tuesday for Tommy Fury KSI, and Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis are going to be there as well. I genuinely think that pay-per-view does 700,000. I genuinely believe that, maybe even more. Logan Paul can you understand the promotion, almost the free promotion that's getting? Like, do you know Logan Paul's following? Look at the followings of the 4 people there. Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis, KSI, Tommy Fury. And then let's not forget, with KSI, you then get Deji and you get all the Misfits people that will promote it for free because they'll just talk about it. With Logan Paul, you get Jake Paul. With Dylan Dennis, potentially you're going to get Conor McGregor. And with Tommy Fury, who do you get? None other than the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the lineal pound for pound guy, Tyson Fury. Look at the free promotion around that 700,000 pay-per-view buys. Easy. Anthony Yarde definitely wants the Boatsy fight, but not convinced he beats Dan Aziz. Yeah, I could see that fight going either way. I have Boatsy as a slight favourite, but wouldn't be surprised with any result in that one. Any result. Canelo surprised by respectful Charlo, but says you don't need to make drama to sell pay-per-views. Well, not for Canelo because he has a country behind him, but most people do need a bit of drama. You do need a little bit. Charlo. Errol Spence Crawford was quite respectful. There's a couple of bits, but imagine if that had a bit more heat to it. Don't get me wrong, it was so good, pound for pound, it was so good. We, as the hardcores, jumped on it, right? And even the casuals kind of jumped on it a little bit. But imagine that had a bit more, a push, a punch, or so, anything. A bit more disrespect. You're probably talking another 100,000 pay-per-view buys, it's crazy. But you're probably talking that. A lot of you have reached out to me about the Alicia Baumgardner situation, which I find crazy, honestly, crazy. Look, if she is guilty, and some of you will say, of course she's guilty already. You're right, but she clearly claims she's not, and everyone claims they're not. But if she is guilty, let's start with that first. How disappointing would that be? Because her rise in the last couple of years has been the biggest, I think, of any female boxer. Look, we already knew who Clarissa was. We knew who Katie was, and you should have known who Amanda was. Not many of us knew who Alicia was. Alicia came over here, starched Terry Harper, had that fantastic, I wouldn't say fantastic fight. It wasn't a fantastic fight, but fantastic build-up with Michaela Mayer. And look, she was working with me for the Jake Paul-Nate Diaz fight, and she had already started to sell for her versus Amanda Serrano, undisputed versus undisputed. She would have got 7 figures. So it's super disappointing. I'm always a sucker for people being in shape. And I always just say, look at her, she's in shape. And if her being in shape is because of this, then thoroughly disappointed. I will say this, though. I know Conor Benn defended himself like constantly on social media, but I've not seen anyone for a long time be adamant that they didn't do it like Alicia is. It's crazy. And there is some sort of question mark asterisk around this all. So look, I'm going to wait to see how this one plays out in the next couple of weeks before I sort of burn her on the cross. But yeah, I'd be so disappointed. On the other side, though, the flip side to that, I've seen a few people say, oh, look, Matchroom again, they're fighters. Are you not happy? Are you not happy that the fighters are getting caught? You can't have it both ways. I'm happy fighters are getting caught. I'm happy drug testing seems to be a bit more stringent. And it isn't just Matchroom fighters, by the way. A couple of PBC fighters have been caught recently, but you don't really hear about that as much, maybe because they're not big names. But yeah, again, I'll be disappointed. I'm going to wait it out for a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's not great, is it? It's not great as well. Again, her rise in the sport in the last couple of years has been incredible. So yeah, we'll be thoroughly disappointed if she has found to have done something. I don't know anything about the drug. I know someone that does. and they showed me, well, we shared WhatsApps, and they were like, dude, that drug right there and the amount. I was like, okay, say no more, brother. Say no more. Anything else before we wrap? Let's have a quick look. Oh, here we go. See, exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Eddie Hearn on Anthony Joshua Wilder. The only way the fight doesn't happen is if Saudi Arabia fails to deliver. Why are we relying on Saudi Arabia? Like, the big fight's not happened before Saudi. I don't understand. Like, I'm not a fan of the pay-per-view model, but chuck it on pay-per-view. Are you telling me that doesn't do the numbers? Are you telling me AJ versus Wilder doesn't do Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? I know AJ might have fallen off, or some of you at least think he has in terms of the pull power, but don't tell me AJ Wilder doesn't do Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Don't tell me. Press tour, everything. Of course it does. Of course it does. Nonsense. The only way it happens if Saudi... What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're going to do so many videos this week, although I am pressing the pause button on Saturday, but we'll do... You know what? I'm tempted to do a live watch-along for Usyk Dubois, and then we'll fuck off for 2 weeks after that. Possibly. All right, anyway, boys, girls, don't forget, watch the episode 6 of The Road to £175, and I shall see you all later. Peace.